here on lesson one that will give you a heading, and most of them have a prayer at the beginning and at the end. And then we will go into this. Now, step one encompasses denial, as we talked about, but really the goal here is to really incorporate humility into our being, which will in turn turn into willingness to do as God directs, to accept his healing, his changes, his transformation in our life, to surrender to him, to be able to fully trust him. Especially important when moving into step two, which is then we're going to start addressing the difficult past events in our life, the difficult emotional events, these kind of things, and handing those over to him. We have to trust him and surrender to him to be able to allow him to work in our lives and achieve the results we want to see. So if we move on from this, you'll just see this is step two, and it's called redefining beliefs. And now step two is the longest of the steps, and this is 9. And actually, this study started by building step two, because we felt that that was absolutely critical to see sobriety and transformation. The other elements are super important to be able to maximize achieving this goal that we have for step two, which is the redefining of our beliefs and the transformation of our actions and beliefs. Step two is especially neat because it's 9 lessons, but it also ends with what's called a transformation story, which is basically we're going to talk about what God has done during the course of step two. Okay, step two being very unique in that the first half of it, the first 4.5 lessons, I'd say, are very intense. Okay, there's a lot of work that goes into there in digging out this stuff, these patterns, these things that have created dysfunctional beliefs, identifying them, called the discovery process, and then connecting them all. Okay, then there's a transformation that happens right there at the 7th lesson, because these are numbered 1 to 16 successively. They don't restart in each step. But what happens here is we talk about how we came to Christ, or how we recommitted to Christ. And now there is a change in attitude in the step itself. And we start looking for positive transformational changes that God is making in our life. And we start seeing them and working on exercising our faith in God to see these transformational changes happen in our life. So where in other studies that we did, it would be 3 months of really hammering away at things that were more checklists. This one's all focused on one issue. We're going to work hard to dig this thing out in the first half of the step two. And in the second half of step two, we're going to go forward with positive changes and now exercising, like I said, our faith in Christ to see these changes come to fruition. And then we close out step two with a transformation story. And we'll share that in our small groups. It's like 500 words of what we saw happen during this process and up to this point in the study.